What's good, everybody? It's your boy again, the most handsome guy at Ratanda, the most smartest guy at Ratanda. Pretty classic so. Your boy, Themba Kells, within the premises of Igagasi. We are here again, guys. This time we have, I think, if not one of the best guest thus far. Zipho Dlangamandla. Remember the summer around, friends? I tried to call your name out and I said, Umungeli Dlangamandla. I was like,
I was losing like, how come?
What the fuck?
But you got it right this time.
I got it right this time.
Shut up, my brother.
Are you nice? Oh, we have a Sizwe, Maseko, as a ghost person.
My man. My man.
That's Zippo's friend. How are you, my brother?
I'm good. I'm stable. Just want to say that.
Sure. Is there a way of which you want to introduce yourself? Maybe the way I did does not work for you. It's not suffice for you.
No. It's perfect.
Can I introduce him?
Yeah,
Oh
please
my
do
gosh.
introduce him. Oh, lovely.
Theater
people.
Gentlemen. Yes, extraordinaire.
What?
And director.
What?
Cinematographer.
Yeah?
He went to Hollywood when he was in high school.
Oh, no.
Zipho Dlangamandla.
Shit!
Sizwe Oje.
Yes, he was privileged to go to. We started to the theater and the performing arts attributes in school.
Sure.
But they went to
Hollywood.
Do you know what it was?
Okay.
So theater has always been like, theater is my first love, right? And I'm sorry to break this out to a lot of people who know me through film, but like, theater has always been my first love, you know? Because the stage was the one place that I felt like people are laughing with me instead of at me.
Oh.
Growing up as umuntu nomzimba mkhulu, you know, we all know amagama esibizwa ngawo, you know?
Yeah.
So stage was that one place for me that felt like home. And I mean, whatever that I'm given, I would excel in it. Fast forward to high school, I had two teachers who were quite instrumental.
Okay.
Mrs. Haynes, McDonald, yes, Miss McDonald. They were like, young boy, you've got something. There's this competition. Enter. So being out here, when you think about entering something that requires money, we has 400 for an entry. It's like 400 leo in into his buyer. I'm told you can buy food, you can do whatever.
Yeah,
so I kept quiet about it, and then I think the day before the last day, Mrs. Haynes came through and she was like, "Listen, excuse me, you've been prolonging the entry fee, so I've just paid for you."
It's still Haynes, right?
Yes.
They're Hans Fasaki now.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, nice. And she was like, "I paid for you, and just work your magic." And I remember I was in such a predicament because that weekend that was slotted for me to have these performances. It was the weekend that we had a leadership camp in high school. I was in grade 11. So being the person that I was one of the few people who was like known to be part of the leadership of SKL. And I was caught in between. Do I go to the leadership camp? Do I go to these auditions?
And you had been selected as a prefect at that time.
It was before that. It was before that. But like the talks that you'd have and hear around the corridors, you know, people you already know would, okay, so I might possibly be this person or have this thing, SKL.
The custodian.
And I was just like, on a random day, I remember being in class being funded all Mrs. Vala. Can't remember if it was business or what.
Vala taught business and
business, no?
Business, yes.
Yeah. Literally in the middle of the class, Mrs. Haynes walks in, she whispers to the teacher, then the next thing, to Zipho, take your bags, you have full office. What the fuck did I do? Why am I here at the office?
You were naughty. What the fuck did I do?
No, I wasn't. Well,
Yes.
They didn't mix breed. I'll be honest. They didn't mix breed. Yeah. They didn't mix breed. So fine, I go to the office. When I get to the office, I sit down at the principal's office, and Mrs. Haynes walks in. The principal walks in, but they listen. We know that your auditions were scheduled for a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but there's actually the Sunday date was wrong, so it's from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we were meant to drive out for the leadership camp on the Friday.
Okay.
And I had my performances split in between Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So on the Thursday, that's when this whole ordeal happened. And they were like, listen, you have to go now. You have to go to Randburg right now. Give us your mother's phone number, ask for consent, and we go. This is me saying I can't be putting pretty phone. In those days, we were not allowed to have cell phones this scale. Then the station
before leadership camp.
Way before, Joe. So I've got a stage now where I used to like hold my phone. I've called Kasbali, fuck sound, keep my phone, get my mom's phone number, you know, jump on a call at the same time. Fine, take Zippo. We drove.
Oh man.
We drove to that thing. Did 2 performances, and I wasn't really comfortable with those performances.
Yeah.
But a few weeks later, I found out that, okay, fine, I've progressed from the provincial stage into the national stage.
Okay.
So now I'm competing against all 9 provinces of different artists and actors, and there's musicians, there's dancers, there's models, there's everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was called the South African Talent Championships. It was called South African Talent Championships, and that was the first time my mom and my dad saw me on stage. First and last time, to be honest.
How did they feel about that moment?
I remember this one emotional piece that I did. So basically, it's a young boy coming back from school on the phone. Uncle calls on the phone, discover that mom passed away. This boy breaks down and starts questioning God. It was a monologue.
And that monologue is on you on Google.
No, that monologue was from 1606 with Nelson Mukwena with YT from State Theatre. Yeah.
Remember.
So that initial monologue, I remember we had a break afterwards before my contemporary piece after, and I remember seeing my dad on stage crying. It's like, I've never seen this man cry before. Yeah? But this performance got him to tears. It was like, how? When we broke for lunch, he comes to me, he's like, Yona son. It's like, when I said, we told up because bonka bazal bako basapila and everything of yours is there. How did you make it seem so real? How did you
tap into that
space? I was just like, it's a form of what I love. You know, it's emotions that you see people go through and you experience directly and indirectly, because no motion. You know, sometimes you might not cry in front of people, but you know how you see other people react to those situations. It's just like a culmination of everything, and you bring it close into that. And yeah, that national phase happened, and then came the awards day. The awards day came. I won 2 silvers and a gold plus.
That's nice.
And then I got a platinum award. It was so crazy. When I got the platinum award, I was still taking pictures for the gold plus and coming all the way around. My mom was like, Zipho, we're on the stage. It's like, Mama 14. I'm like, Mama 14. It's like, Muyana, you got another award. It's like, oh, okay. That's really cool. Yeah, I said, I'm like that's really cool. And that's when it was announced that I was ranked 3rd in SA for that category that I did. And that's how I got to go overseas in America. And that journey on its own, going to America, was insane, man.
It was a nice experience.
It was beautiful. I feel like I also got to understand what is it that I really, really want to do. Because it goes without saying, stories is something that I've always loved.
Okay.
My mom was from KZN.
Do you remember the play you did in grade? I think that was a grade, but tricky, where you played a teddy bear.
Yes, I remember that.
That and you guys won against us, the hostilites who told you.
I was so happy for that. I was so happy.
I hated you for
because the previous year, not shy.
Yes, we won. Okay, I wasn't there.
The previous year, number two,
No, you were not in the play the previous year. I was doing the play, the Serena story. It was me, Kanye, and
oh yes.
Kanye, and we won.
Yes.
I played the Prince.
Yes, yeah, not shy, but
you guys played Teddy Bear and the Kanye.
what is it called?
The play is called something.
What is it? Fuck, I can't remember.
Something the Bear.
Yeah, and I was playing a father figure that day.
Is it?
And ever since that day, I've been called a teddy bear. Ever since that day, I've been called a teddy bear. Yes, no, I was in grade 8. Yeah. I was in grade 8.
That name stuck with you.
Till today, man.
Do you believe because you look like a teddy bear?
My man, come on now. Come on now.
But I want to get the experience in Hollywood. How was it for you?
So to be more precise, it was in Orlando, Florida.
You hear that? Orlando, Florida.
I'm a
Not Orlando Pirates. Orlando, Florida.
So we're
Orlando
East.
Guys, get it right. It's Orlando, Florida.
So it was in Orlando, Florida, and
Even the pronunciation, Florida.
the Sunshine State.
Yeah.
You see, when it comes to how I speak,
Yes.
Yeah.
well, I'll get to that. Let's finish this story. I'll get to that. Let's finish this story. So that experience was insane, man. It was insane. We were there for a good 2 weeks, and those 2 weeks was just like magical. Because things that you dream of, Smiley, not being used to the hotel lifestyle and having somebody who says, room service, and now all of a sudden, it was a big culture shock, no lie. It was a big culture shock. You know, arriving at this hotel and you're told that you can choose 3 different cars that you can roll in with.
Is it? Mr. President.
You understand? When you try that, come up I'm in high school. It's either come up for recap or you traveling. It was a big culture shock for me. Being able to choose 3 cars that you can roll in with, and I mean, how old are you? Like 17?
That experience is 17.
You understand? You're 17 and you're experiencing all of these things. You get reminded by people that you've got this audition at this time. After this time, you've got a show that you have to go on to at this time. Excuse me, you've got an interview a bit later, and then you can be a kid.
So you got to be Trevor Noah before?
Well, no, Caesar, no.
The treatment.
No, Caesar, no, Caesar, no. No, Caesar. That's why they say I was able to see what life could be like and how serious other countries take this form of art that we're there. And when we arrived there and you're experiencing all of these things, that's when I was just like, fine, I love being on stage, I enjoy it, but my thing is, I love stories. And I want to be in control whenever I tell these stories. I want to build these characters, I want to build these worlds, I want to know their destiny, you understand? And that's when I understood what filmmaking is.
Hence you became a film director.
Exactly. And that's what it was, because you'd arrive on set, they put makeup on you, you know, you get dressed and whatever, but I would sit there during ad breaks or whatever and just chill and be like, who is that person who's always holding this file of papers? Oh, she must be the production manager, or she must be the producer. Who's this guy who's on the radio always shouting camera action? Oh, that's the assistant director. What does he do?
You were curious.
Oh, where's the director? Oh, he's chilling up there, switching between different cameras. Why is it that the DOP has basically like so much understanding of what's happening on set? You know, the DOP understands what lighting is being used and what form of light needs to be used, and understanding how you could motivate and spark up certain emotion with light.
Hope our DOP is listening.
There's plenty. You understand?
I hope he's listening.
You know, so it's those things that like opened up the world of filmmaking. It's not just having a script writer, a director, and actors, and a camera. It's not just that. It's It's way deeper, and that's when I was like,
what you spoke about that in cinematography. Someone said to me, Miss Karina. She once said to me,
from TUT.
Yes, from TT. She said to me, your face. She was like, Sizwe, even though you think you're a theatre actor, but you've got a very expressive face. It would work in the film. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, people like Zipho look at how good you can use your face.
Sure.
Whether you can perform or not.
Yeah.
But can you tell a story which is...
Yeah, how you look at somebody. How do you react when I say something?
Yes.
Certain key sentences or key words within the dialogue. Certain words need to spark
I want to ask
what
you
you
something.
say.
I want to ask you something. Since you are in this field, I remember I did a short course in acting. Was it 2018?
You said 2018 in my interview. I remember.
I think it was 2018.
Yeah.
2018 in March. So I just want to test you a bit. Not that I'm insulting your intelligence, but I want to test you.
Lapong Rose.
Oh man, what is the subtext?
Subtext is a message that is being brought forward without being said in words.
Love it. Love it.
It's something that is not being said in Amakama, but could be said in so many different things. Could be said with lighting, could be said with body movement, could be said with expressions, could be said with pattern of speech.
One
could be said with how the camera moves.
Hey, I'm enjoying this now. I'm going to abuse him. Do you believe that silence is truly golden in acting?
Trust and believe. Silence is golden everywhere, dog. Silence is golden everywhere. I just explained it to you now.
Shout out to Mungani.
I just did it now.
Yeah.
I said one line and I kept quiet.
And you all felt it.
And you all felt it. You understand?
My thesis on that, by the way, guys.
I want them to understand, bro. I want them to understand one thing. Why I brought you back. This is the reason why I brought you back.
Silence is very powerful, man. And silence is... people say silence is golden, but I believe like it's beyond golden. And how you utilize silence is very, very powerful. Because think of it, whenever you might be saying a speech or talking to people, if you take a moment of silence, you'll see one or a few members in the audience leaning forward saying, what is he going to say next? And also you're giving the audience time to take in what you just said. That's point number one.
Silence is out. It's very
That's point number one. Number two, silence is a very powerful tool whenever you're in war as well. I'll say it again. Excuse me. I'll say it again.
Oh, so you're getting the idea that I'm confused.
Silence, no.
Yeah.
Silence is a very powerful tool, even in war. I say this because I just shared a book with a friend of mine called The Art of War. I just gave him that book, and there's a chapter that talks about the imminence of silence and what you can do with silence. You can come at me, young memeze, and I just sit in silence, being still, and you become frantic and you're shouting, what, and I'm just still. That thing is either going to bother you, or it's going to show how weak you are.
And you can't be trusted.
And you expect Themba to what we always talk about. Men are always silent in arguments. You know why? Because silence is golden. It works for men. Umuntu aba frantic in front of you, and you just keep quiet, and she gets all the answers.
But I never take a
I want to come back to this. So now that you've touched on that book, Ghost Lady, you remember your favorite quote from that book? It's Sizwe, The Art of War. So her favorite quote of that book, it says, all warfare is based on deception. All warfare is based on deception. You get it?
I'm with you. I just need a drink.
What is this?
All warfare
is based on deception.
Oh,
okay.
Which means anything that has...
Because I thought all warfare.
No, all warfare is based on deception.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which means, I'm saying he can't be trusted, but not literally.
Yes.
Which means he has the power to maneuver and manipulate you. That's deception.
Yes,
He's being deceitful. conceited. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it very well.
Yeah, I know Ibambeka.
You're right, because it was deceitful. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we love that book.
Yeah, I know, it's an amazing book, man. I enjoy it. I shared it with a friend of mine, and because we were just talking about how sometimes, like, the different calculations that you need to take whenever you're moving forward within war. Because life on its own is just a fucking war game on its own. You know, sometimes you don't have to be the loud person. Sometimes you don't have to be overpowering. Sometimes you just need to be still and then know that there is a God.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Sometimes just like Bambi Posle complete again. Because Rick used to say it doesn't hurt, and sometimes you just need to put your back against the wall and just shut the fuck up. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the heart of the message.
Hence, I did not see you at the James conversation. I was doing what you were saying.
Yeah.
I was silent and
Just sit
on the wall
back.
and
Just sit back, put your back against the wall and just observe. And funny enough, crazily, excuse me, I always tell people that I'm a very shy human being. And they're like, what the fuck was Zipho shy? Never. I'm like, but I actually am shy. I'm not shy if I've had a couple of drinks.
Now you're having a couple of drinks, you're not shy.
That's how I'm Kurumaganga.
Yeah.
I'm not shy when I've had a couple of drinks, but generally you put me into a space that I don't know, with people that I don't know. I'm one person who would try to camouflage within the space or keep quiet, but it's so hard to do that because I'm such a big, tall guy, you know? But I just try to sit back and just observe what are the energies, what's the vibe around, you know, and then eventually when I'm comfortable and I know what it is, and then I ease myself into it.
I want you to tell us about Bioscope.
Yo! Shout out to Bioscope, man.
Bioscope, guys.
Shout out to Bioscope Films.
Yeah. How did you find yourself within those guys?
Dude, it's so
A
crazy.
lovely work, man. Quality
Shut
there.
up, shut
I wish
up.
we could hire this guy.
I didn't say that.
In a lovely quality, bro.
I didn't say that. Man, Bioscope Films is home. It's home, man. And with Bioscope, it's like, fuck, it's so insane. So how I got to be at Bioscope was 2017. I was freelancing. Started freelancing as a production assistant.
After your diploma?
Yes, this is after I finished at TUT and after spending time at the State Theatre for a year. And then I went to ATV alongside the SABC, and I finished a screenwriting course there. And then I was like, let me just start freelancing, and I want to get to understand what commercials are about. So when I started freelancing, I started as a production assistant, always knowing that my passion is to direct, right?
Okay.
Cool. Started freelancing. When you're freelancing, obviously working with like different companies. And when you're a PA, you're basically the skivvy of the company.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be brutally honest.
Yes.
Because you're the skivvy of the company.
I once called him a skivvy.
You make the teas, you make the coffees,
And she just said to me,
you pick up things.
she was like, PA is pa in Africa, so literally when the person sees you say pa.
Hey,
Please explain to him.
see that explanation.
No, I want for people who don't understand what is a skivvy. Please, what is a skivvy?
I'm fit to bakoropa ngawe. Like you, basically, my brother, ice boy. Like whatever that's needed, you have to be there. And I think what set me apart from all of the other PAs that came up in my time was I was that one PA who understood what it is that I want to do, and I never took the comments from work quite personally.
Yes, you should.
So if I've been asked to make coffee, I'll make the coffee. If I'm being asked to go pick up a lens somewhere, I'll go pick up that lens. But whenever I get into the company, I'd ask questions. What is this lens? What does it do? So when I was in varsity, my majors was directing, script writing, and producing, and film crit analysis. And then I'd be quite close to the directors, you know. I'd try to find my way. The good thing is, and I do all of those runarounds, and then in the office before we start shooting, and then on set, I'd be harassed by a lot of guys on set.
Yeah.
So the lighting team would be like, Zipho Dlangamandla, because you're big and you're strong. Help us lift this M18 type thing. Still in the grips department. Yo, we need to build a giraffe crane. Come through, Zippo. You understand?
Talent.
But I did that with passion, knowing very well that if I want to be a director, these are the guys that I'll need to be working with in the future. So when I was busy with my freelancing thing, I got booked on a job with Bioscope Films. So Ernest Nkosi was still part of that. Ernest Nkosi did Tina Sobabili. He recently did An Ordinary People. He's just an amazing gentleman and a good brother of mine. He was working with Bioscope at that point in time. And I was starstruck when I walked into the office and I saw this man over there. Because Tina Sobabili was used as a case study in film school the year before, or a few years before. 2 to 3 years before. It was used as a case study. Now I'm seeing this man who I love his work so much. And he's literally right here. I'll choke this man. You know? Sharp, cool. I play my part, do my things. I think my thing was just to ask him, do you want coffee? How do you want your coffee?
You're doing the PA job.
Yeah, I told him, do you want coffee? How do you want your coffee? And he told me how he likes his coffee. And I've just kept at it just like that. So it happened that every job that Bioscope had, they kept on calling me back, even though I was freelancing. And then I built a very beautiful relationship with one of the owners, Daniel Kaplan, the executive producer. And I remember telling him this one time, and it was actually for a shoot with Fausto Beccati for IndieFin. And I said to Dan, listen, I need a job. He's like, but you're freelancing. I'm like, Dan, I need a permanent job. I need a permanent job because freelancing, you can't really know when's the next paycheck coming in, you know? So I need something that's gonna keep me constant and going. And Dan was like, do you know how to take a picture? I'm like, Dan, I know how to take a picture. I understand the law of thirds, what it is, you know, and all of that. He was just like, no, just come and visit me at the office one day. Yeah, I didn't look raggedy. I finally want to shed the pullover. And I walked in, he was like,
can I take a quick tour? I'll be back.
Should I pause, continue?
No, just continue. Tell the story.
Fine, Themba, leave us.
Tell the story. But you made me drink all these Heineken.
Fine, Themba, leave us.
And ask you a question before we started.
When I had this conversation with Dan, I was like, you know, I've only got my brother and he's got his family.
Yeah.
And I just need something sustainable. Went to the office and my shirt, my pullover. And I walk in, he's like, but Z, this is not you, dog. Yes. I'm like, I mean, I'm treating it as an interview. He's like, and then that's when he said, clearly you take what you do seriously. We had to sit down, and after that meeting, that's when I signed with Bioscope.
Shit.
And I signed with Bioscope as a production coordinator.
Okay.
I was helping out Naledi Khope, who's now my producer.
Wow.
She was a production manager then.
Okay. I've seen her as a schedule as well. She's schedule, I don't know when, but that name comes out. Naledi is one prominent name in the industry, né?
Dog, she's my sister. Yeah. Naledi Khope from Bioscope, like, we fight so many professional wars and personal wars together. So yeah, I joined Bioscope as a production coordinator, but they knew what the dream was.
Oh, okay.
And they would basically like take me to be part of every step of creating a commercial with each and every director. So I would experience what it's like to work with Ernest Nkosi.
Okay.
I would experience what it's like to work with Fausto Beccati. Hilton Tannenbaum, another OG who literally put me under his wing. Excuse me. Rio Allen when he joined as well. Amazing guy from Namibia when he joined. Namibia, but based in Cape Town. Joined us also again.
But I feel like this is a journey. When you speak about film, that's when you got the ultimate and I see the ultimate dream, the ultimate feel of what it is to be a film star. But you're a theatre person. You've done President's Man with Presley, right?
Yeah, no.
And Wallet, what's his name? Real name?
I can't remember his real name right now,
guy.
but that bro.
Yeah, that cast with your Luzukos and.
Oh, Luzu was amazing.
Yes.
Sure.
Tell me about your theatre, because that's the best production I think you've done in theatre.
I disagree with you, hey?
For me, personally.
I disagree with you. So,
the cast was.
So with President's Man, I wasn't actually part of President's Man.
And what, man?
No, I wasn't actually part of President's Man.
Yeah.
President's Man, I was just like overseeing and just watching stuff from behind. I think the best play that I've done, there's a play called Slam Rape.
Okay.
It was basically poetry, but talking about the ills of sexual abuse,
yes.
and yeah. I say it's the best play, but also
But my question is based on a big.
my experience with him.
Yes.
Fuck, I love that man. I was he's that guy when you walk into the theater at the South African State Theater. That man is always carrying a bag with a toss in his hand and was somewhere. If he's not by the stage door, by the courtyard on the 4th floor. But when that man gets into it, alongside Abu Ratona.
Tabo.
No, not Tabo.
Oh, he works for.
Not Tabo.
That one, that's Kopechi.
Yes.
Troll.
Yes.
Part of the theatre in Joburg now, the small one. What's the name of the theatre?
Tepo, yes.
Ratuna, yes.
Tepo Ratuna. The first guy when we had to do a Shakespearean play called King Lear. He was like, "You are playing King Lear." Fucking hell, yes. I was meant to play that thing. And this is how things got fucked up. So basically, King Lear's about a king who's got daughters and he goes mad and all that shit. She's like, "No, you're gonna play King Lear." So we went into rehearsal. Fuck, we're going in, and you are reading Shakespeare.
Yes.
And if you know who Shakespeare is and you look at,
text.
oh fucking hell, man, it's insane. So unfortunately, we couldn't perform that play because I got called in to do what's this film? Queen of Katwe. Queen of Katwe, a Disney film about chess players, was shooting in Pretoria.
You know it, yeah.
So I got called in to work on that as well.
That's the only first time you get there.
So I got called in to work on that. You know, I got called in to work on that because one of the guys who was the ADs knew that I'm around Pretoria, and I was just like,
You're a brilliant voice.
I want to get into it, but I got into it as an assistant there.
Oh, okay.
But sure, I just like the experience of being on a film set, and you know, I was just like, guys, I'm sorry, Tsepo Askis. We literally sat down in a boardroom. I was like, I can't let this thing go. Nabo and
Okay, yes.
Nabo Nelson Moka was like, I can't. I have to go do Queen of Katwe, and I went to go do Queen of Katwe, and I basically fucked up their schedule, and they had to find another play to do. They did Desperate Measures, and I came back after they did Desperate Measures when I finished Queen of Katwe.
And then tell us about how you experienced as a film student in the best arts institution in Africa was.
So, when I got to film school at the Tshwane University of Technology,
Arts campus.
it was before even the arts campus.
Son is in Brazil.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you.
It was
The ladies, nice.
oh,
Because
boy.
watching one crash out every 5 seconds.
Funny enough, when I was in Pretoria, that's when I met my current girlfriend right now.
Oh,
It
it
is.
is. You must go search there. Victoria, I told you. Victoria, don't get it out.
This is why I made Zimba on at the
Don't get it
office.
out.
Sure, is it?
What a drop name now,
Yes. I met a lot of people who shine my mate. He's married on this. Those people who were all there, like he said, okay, I'm not a girls, but guys, you know, I'm not for girls. But otherwise, I met this Zimba on campus. I was doing my first year. And she was wearing tights. I was like, okay, this campus is for
Excuse me.
people like Zipho and Themba. Yeah.
I feel like you'd live well at the main campus.
Yes.
I'm sure you would have had so much fun there. Story for another day. Story for another day. Story for another day. So my experience with regards to studying film at TUT, man, I didn't have the focus that I have right now. I was just a loose cannon, bro. I was a loose cannon. Genuine, loose cannon. You get there, you've got all of these full ideas. You come from high school, you left high school as this prominent figure and you're a don. And now you get into this new space, you shit, like Ukarela Pants.
I'm telling him that place is like the industry.
You know, Ukarela Pants is man. You come across niggas that, when you are giving an editing assignment, niggas would do that assignment on a laptop in class. When we sounds about it, yo, I have to go book a library. I'm not laptop. Laptop then 32 bit, but all of these programs that we're using to edit, double Final Cut, you don't have a Mac. If you're using Windows, you got Premiere Pro, but you need a 64 bit. Your laptop is a 32 bit. Like fuck, yo, samele nyo book na go edit suite. People that would have cameras generally. I remember at that point in time, a Canon 650D had just came out.
Okay.
It was a thing, dog. But there were kids that had those cameras just like taking pictures at class in this was forgot. When we was buying the camera there, and you go look at the inventory that had all of the equipment that we had. At that point in time, we hadn't moved into full-on digital.
Okay.
So the film school still had like the Sony Z5s, and we didn't use any LED lights. It was still like red heads.
Okay.
You just like, yo. The people who went to TUT film school, they would know who I'm talking about. Mangitu Praino.
Yeah.
Oh, Praino na only remember, we're all booking the same equipment. First year, all the way until like third year or honors or even masters. And this is my TJ, my sponsor equipment. The 30 feet long to prove. And you can't do shit, dog. And mind you, the same third years, you as a first year, you are pushing to be on their set because you want to learn.
Yes.
Okay, what time do you start shooting? Now we're going to start shooting at 2 o'clock. It's something there. Something take me hands. The cameraman from 9 o'clock. Spanning. When I come to your set, we want the camera. So that was my approach towards film school, man. It was a thing of just trying to find my way to do what I want to do. I was very selective on the subjects that I pay attention to. I would fucking excel, you know. If I think of sound and technology, I was like, fuck this thing. That was my approach then, not understanding what sound does and things you can learn with, learn and achieve with how you can use Foley sounds to help enhance the entire mood.
And with theatre, you know that sound does enhance the mood of any performance, so it is you just being ignorant.
Yes, I was. No, I'll be honest. Yes, I was.
You're being ignorant.
Yes, I was. I was very ignorant. That was my theatre, not theatre, my film school lifestyle. I was quite ignorant, man. Made a lot of good friends.
Yes.
Excuse me, who would try and be like, yo, but Biggie.
Who you Biggie?
Yeah, well,
You love Biggie.
Biggie?
Because last time you were in his
Do I love Biggie?
Yeah. I feel like you're going to be
Do I
biased
love
right
Biggie?
now. It's like water is wet. It's a rhetorical question.
The sun is hot.
Oh man,
You know,
I'm a fan of
I
Tupac.
love.
I'm a fan
Well,
of Tupac.
yeah, sharp. Let's close the show. Let's close the show.
Yeah,
Let's close the show. Yeah, so that was my approach to film school. But when I got to my second year and my third year, I remember being pulled aside by Mrs. Payne. She used to work in admin, and she was like, "Pull yourself together, man. Pull yourself together." And then there was this one lady who used to teach me script writing, Mama Kwena Makhema. Beautiful, beautiful woman, and also super amazing when it comes to the pen and writing, and her understanding of cinema in Africa. She's the one who got to redirect my brain. Like, but let's talk about our stories and things that we want our people to hear. And then I got a lecture called Nchaveni Warululi, also an amazing man. He used to fight me all the time. Yeah, but I understood later why he used to fight me, because clearly you saw something. Which was the same approach that Mama Kwena used to give to me as well. She was never very kind. Yeah, she was straight to the point. It's either you take it or you flush it, but if you decide to flush it, it was born to pay it up. Matter if we are Itata, I'll be there to guide you, my Itata, no inspiration or whatever thing that she's sharing. And yeah, that's what it was, man. That's what it was. It wasn't easy. I ended up as about record time being because we flunked here and there, but we came on top regardless. So I was more like the thorn amongst the roses. Thanks, brother.
Tell me about the short film of which you have created. Boys and Things.
Oh my days. Oh my days.
And to speak about that, I think we should incorporate the gentleman's conversation, because I invited him initially on the first gentleman's conversation because of that one.
And I was so touched that I couldn't make it then.
And you couldn't make it? Oh, yes.
I was so touched.
Happened. Can you just explain what happened?
So I was so touched. So Sizwe comes up to me, he's like, so I'm working with this organization. I'm working with this organization, and imagine there's this thing that we're having, there's an event that we're having, and I'm full of so tell me if you can do it. But they're sharp, more than open. If Caesar says, Z, it's something that we're doing, more than happy. Sharp. What's the topic? I think it was centered around mental health around men. And we had set for the event to be on the 23rd of April. Sharp, so the build-up happens, right? I keep chatting to Caesar. Caesar, he breaks it down to me, it makes sense. Sharp, it makes sense. And then I literally went on a fucking preparation steez, because I'm like, if you're going to talk mental health, especially for Ramachita, it's a narrative that we don't necessarily get to, you don't get to explore much. And if you think of the time frame that we were at that point in time, as the socio-economic things that were happening, there was a lot of gender-based violence going on, we were in the trenches when it comes to that. And Sizwe sends this thing, fine. I go through it. I'm prepping. I ask Sizwe, do you have a screen? I want to do like a full-on presentation. So, it's like, I know I can organize that. I'm sharp. On that day, it was a Saturday.
Guess what?
So the 23rd of April is my late brother's birthday.
Okay, cool.
Right? So on that day, I wake up in the morning, I'm getting ready, I called Sizwe. So I had just returned from Nigeria, I think a few weeks before. I called Sizwe on that day in the morning. I'm like, Sizwe, I'm still yours for the day. Let me just take care of my brother quickly because he was sick. I was like, let me take care of my brother, make sure we're right and his wife is also okay. And then I'll come to you. Sharp. As time goes on, I see him like, yes, this brother is not getting better.
And we had Uncle Z, so we started to see Uncle Z.
Yeah, I'm like, this guy he's not getting better. I'm like, okay, fine. Sizwe, Mamera, please push me later. You understand?
Yeah.
Push me later, Maranzofi. Dude, I think after I just sent that voice note to Sizwe, in the next 10 minutes, my brother passed away in my hands. So I couldn't go and come to that event.
And when he does, he sends me a text when I'm on stage.
I sent him a text telling that, Joe, my brother just passed away, I can't make it. So that's how I couldn't make it. I make it at the previous one. But going back to your question, not to be somber and sad, how did I get to Boys Have Feelings too? So there was a point in time in my life that
You got hit by a girl.
well, my current girlfriend.
Okay.
My current girlfriend, we've been going back and forth for a while, and you know, the way things happened then sparked something, but it was not only just from her.
Yes.
So, disclaimer: I'm not saying envy and goes. Right? I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm not saying envy and goes. I've got my fair share of nonsense. I'm not a perfect human being, but I own up to my nonsense that I've done.
Yes.
Right? So, as much as you can be someone who owns up to that nonsense, but there are certain things that stick within you. Right? And being someone who has a conscience, you think about those things, you consider those things. So that thing happened between me and I, and now I went on my different tangent only to find that I'm trying to bridge this gap that's quite unbridgeable, to be honest, if you're not facing it in reality. And there's this one guy from the company, actually, Rio Allen. Shout out to Rio Allen.
Rio
was like, yo, Z, there's this fashion film festival called the Bokeh Fashion Film Festival. How about you enter it? Stand a chance to win, like, I think it was like 50K or something.
So you won 50K?
No, let's not go. You see there. There are so many politics, bro. When it comes to guys, be aware of these guys. They promise money, but be aware of these guys. Be aware of these guys.
Yeah.
Honestly, be aware of these guys. Anyways, that's a narrative for another day. I swear to God, that's a narrative for another day.
One day.
So what happened was, Rio says, yo, there's this competition, how about you enter? Alright, cool, I see the things. I'm like, okay, love the brief, sharp, build a treatment, nail that treatment, go into it. I talked to Dan, I talked to Naledi, they're like, fuck Z, let's go, sharp. Build the treatment, comes a day, they were announcing at Melrose Arch.
Okay.
Big announcement date. Boys and feelings too, yay! You know? Yeah, fine, we got to shoot that thing, but for me, my process was, with Boys and Feelings too, what I wanted to do was to spark conversations around the emotions that men go through, and it doesn't matter whether it's out here Thanda abantu besifazane or out here Thanda who's queer.
Yes.
Fact is, you've got emotions.
Yes.
You know, and we don't talk about these emotions ever in. There's a machita, uchirina ngamlahlile, da manje kafana, and you move on.
Abara yafana.
Am I lying?
Afana.
Bese kuwafana phela. You see, that's the problem, bro. See, that's the problem. Here's my question.
Let me tell you something.
Because that notion of saying you have to be strong, you are just building a fucking doldrum of rocks with no emotions. A rock that you cannot do anything. Nayo.
But it's not saying that you're not building emotions. It's you saying, I'm accepting whatever that comes and I'm dealing with it in the best way possible. And the best way possible
Which is what? Hold on. Which is what? By siding it to the side and continuing with life as natural?
That's the best option.
Is that the best option?
That is the best option.
My boy, let me tell you one thing. Wait. Let me tell you one thing. You see that idea and approach towards life? That's what landed me up in therapy, number one. And it landed me up into being a serial heartbreaker.
Yes.
Okay, serial heartbreaker.
Honest.
You were a player.
Mina?
Yeah.
Mina?
And usually in the middle, it was conscious and subconscious.
Bro, here's my analogy about life and women. A And we have a lady here. I'm sorry to say this.
Woman because you have a woman here.
Yo, I'm gonna come at you. Yo, I'm gonna come at you. Not with women, dog.
Don't say with women.
Fuck, not with women.
Say with humans.
Not with women.
She's gonna forgive me.
Not with women.
I love her so much.
Don't be toxic. Not with women.
Listen to me.
Today.
I love her so much.
Not with women.
Hence I'm saying, I'm aware of her presence.
I'm saying not with women.
So I'm not allowed to say what I want to say.
No, you can say what you say, but like I'm putting my stance on saying, don't fuck with women.
Okay, let me say, fuck as many women as possible in your prime as a man, so that you can understand how they operate.
Nah, dog. Nah, dog. Nah, dog.
I told no, that's my perception.
Nah, dog.
Yeah, he did say that his own analogy, and I'm.
Yeah, that's my own interpretation. You don't need to agree with
I choose to fight it.
You don't need to agree with
I understand that it is your
I sense you
perception.
consume a blue pill, and I'm a red pill kind of guy. Yeah, I believe in that because these human beings cannot be trusted entirely, bro.
We, as human beings entirely, we can't sing about it. No, sing about it.
I'm a damn it west, bro.
But sing about it, we can't be trusted.
Come on. Bro.
Why when you
Forget the podcast, forget the recording, forget the camera.
Okay, Shabazz going to say too.
Yeah.
I say you have a camera.
I'm an audience. I'm an audience.
Okay, sharp.
Sure.
You must say there's a match. All right, sharp. Fair. I wanted to get into it one stop.
Okay,
sharp.
but get into that so quickly, then we can cover it up.
No. I just move into the film. That's what I wanted to create. Be more aware on how men have emotions and, just be able to start up conversations, and understand that no matter how wasn't that wrong. You need to be able to just break yourself up as well and just be honest with yourself. And be honest with yourself with regards to why am I doing this? Why did I do this? Was there a need for me to do this? We also to provide a voice for Amachita, because at that point in time, Amachita were being painted as this negative, species. And as much as Namaputa way to the yes, Siavo Martinez Amachita, well as me and as myself, Nyavamonaming Namaputa on.
Exclude me, guys. Yeah.
Well, clearly, and I am for young goes. Me and I have my feet too. As much as Namaputa on, but just want to, bring that forth to say, hey, as much as there are so many men who are doing so much wrong to our sisters, but don't lose hope and love towards brothers entirely. I call on Amachita now who still believe in love, who want to do the right thing. So there was the heart of it. He's a black brother, I believe in him. He's a black brother, I believe in him.
No,
I believe in him.
Man, no, Zipho, no, that's wrong. No, bro, that's wrong. Yeah.
If I say something wrong, I'm gonna me say it's
guys.
But there was the heart of the entire thing. It's just like to spark conversations, let people know that boys have feelings too, and it wasn't only just made from a personal perspective, but also just to culminate everything that was going on in a socio-economic matter within the country at that point in time.
I never told us you were a spinner, you love cars, BMW.
How did you know about that shit? How did you know about that shit?
I did my research.
Smiley, you know when you talk about T325 for a minute, it's something that dates back far back, because my dad used to own one.
Okay.
And I fell in love with that car. When I fell in love with that car, I never understood the mechanics of it. Like what makes it such a beautiful car. But from how Sundays were wash day cars, the time is okay. Sundays were wash day cars. I've got the washikari. Tama will take it for a spin around. I vule sunroof. I'd stand on the seats. Sunroof, greeting my friends, greeting Americano, So I'll be that boy, but I just loved how much respect you got when you had that car. Before understanding what it can do, and then time went by, Maseko was cooler. My late older brother, Olinda Dlangamandla, shout out to him. He also made me understand the different elements that come with the car. How the car had so much influence upon the Kwaito era and culture. How much influence it has from a township cultural perspective. As much as it's a car that we love, it looks beautiful. Now we get into the semantics of how it moves.
How it works.
And what it can do. Okay, ma split diff was wenzani. Ma yebhora ama pistol wenzani. Ma dictator phakathi kwazi ukuthi yenzeni. And that's where it just like went. And that's when I got into that. And fast forward a couple of years later with the passion of the car, I think I must be first we got ourselves a 325. And yeah, we just started moving and dealing with that car. And I've never found the courage to turn it on after he passed away, because he was the last person who turned it off.
Was it the same day?
No, it was the
day before.
2 days before.
Okay.
That was a twin, right?
He was as good as my twin. He wasn't my twin, he's an older brother, 5-year gap.
Somehow they looked alike.
I still fight that till today.
Somehow they
People who know me,
same size.
people who know me, no, we're not the same size.
Not the same size. But
I was way taller, he was much shorter. I was much more lighter, he was a bit darker. He had a bigger belly than me.
Yes, he did. But otherwise, that's on team. You guys had the same aura. Like when there's those Zipho.
People love her, okay. Mangana Zipho Linda na
Very quickly in the hand.
I see. Yes. And that's how we moved, man. Like me and him was so close. Masakura, and I also I call him that. Yeah, that's the nickname I've always given him. I never leave his side. And he'd always fight me with you know? But I don't know what happened in his life. Serious. I promise you, this man is like 5 years older than me. I'm always next to him. At school, I'm always trying to be next to him. I'm here. But I don't know what happened. But there was just like a switch. There was a switch whereby instead of pushing me away, he just fucking embraced me insanely.
And what's so cool, when you were, he was one person who knew. I think you know. It's what you and I cannot fathom and say we know. But otherwise, that's not so humble when you know that you have a conversation with God. So what?
Yazi Ulinda wangisukela mfethu Ulinda wanginika ibhiya ngeinto wathi mama nasangiphuza.
He knew the time was going to come, man.
You know? And I'm not saying he only taught me like he was an ultimate father figure, let me just be honest.
Yes.
And that's why when we got the opportunity to create a Carling Black Label ad with him.
I remember it.
I was like, I have to talk about my brother because I just want to find a way to let the world know how much this man loves me and be able to hold it within and keep it so that even his son,
So the last day.
even his son, I can still play that shit back to his son and be like, this is how close your father and I were. So the brood was insane, man. He taught me a lot of things. He told me to be still. He told me to be smart. He taught me business. He taught me to understand when to use your voice.
And when to use your mind.
Yeah, I tried. He taught me when to understand your moves in life. Taught me emotion. Emotion in life and towards females. I thank for this to fasten the tie.
That's you remembering him, right?
Yes.
Dog.
Yes, and when he passed on that day, that for me will always be a scar because at that day when I did the first, they had gentleman conversations before because that's what they always go on the bus. But otherwise, mine was the prominent one, and he was there. He was supposed to be there. And when his brother passed on that day, it hit me. Like, that's why even when you guys did it, I was like, I'm not coming because I know he's going to be there. And I should be there because I know the journey of why I should be there. So to other people, they take life they're very subtle with what life brings to people. A lot.
I am who I am because I'm a culmination of my brother, my mother, my father, and the different spaces that I move around in. But also the love of my life. Love of my fucking life. Love of my fucking life. I think from the most spin a car, we spin a kanjani. And other things that we used to do that I will not mention, but yeah, he just told me, "Good, we out kanjani." How do you relate to Namachita? How do you approach a woman but still be sincere, even if you're not courting for sexual purposes? But ukukhulumisana naye njengomuntu. Doesn't have to be kunjalo mawukhuluma nomuntu kumele kube uthi khonto efunayo. He brought that understanding into my brain. There's plenty, man.
Yeah.
I could talk the whole fucking day,
yeah.
And he still lives in my heart till today.
And he's yesterday, by the way. He's yesterday, by the way. So let's see where the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year, remember that moment that we had with COVID and we went to that palace where there was a woman and he was trying to court and he was being a brother. He was like, that day. And he was just like, and the girl was like, why put that guy? That guy just snacks.
Joe, that guy, Usopuza was the only person that I've seen. I was Uguti Ankeze when I had COVID and I couldn't move out of my bed. Shab, I've got family. But when I got COVID, yeah, it was hectic. I couldn't move from my bed. Kids were out here me. Mandami come back. I tried saying was 6 from my console. Magavela was 6. Knocks on my door, opens the door. I feel a packet of liquor. Lekoloane. I think I was scared. Tell me, how can you not love somebody who does that for you? Somebody mamtshela ukuthi sibale ngiyahluleka ukuphefumula. To find a paper bag, literally anything. Ukuthi uphefumulele phezu kwalo, and he would use his keeper sack trying to fan you.
And that's what you said to me when you were like, he's starting to breathe.
No, this was my case when I had COVID before him.
Yeah, sorry guys. Toboza, he's here. I didn't say he's here. Toboza.
Man, yo, Ulinda. Ulinda uyonke into game mfethu. Clever yami, insela yami, out yami kwasani. Yeah, and njoba na angasekho emhlabeni nami. And I'm literally the only person who's left from the family of 4. I just try to make sure that his son is good. Ulanga Dlangamandla. Treat that man as my young boy and my only son, and I just try to make sure that the boy is okay, you know?
And a beautiful name, Lam. Oh, in the morning you wake up, you have a call.
Yeah, I'm positive. I'm sure what Dlangamandla ithakazelo zethu.
What a sunshine to this moment.
Yeah. Mangisho vele ithakazelo zakwaDlangamandla, uNkosi uDlangamandla, umphazima kalanga isiwela sikamabuya.
So yes.
So that's why when we knew that uDlangamandla is having a son, ngamethe ngathi hayi lo umphazima kalanga langelizwe. Yeah, no. Shout out to Usopuza. Shout out Dlangamandla.
May your big, generous, affectionate, loving, Educational soul, rest in peace.
Yeah, what up?
Financial literacy is nothing without your
One time.
Yeah.
Financial literacy is nothing.
That was a moment.
So yes,
I think this is
tell us about the awards. The accolades of advertising.
Sizwe, I don't have many.
Yes, but you have something.
I don't have many.
But you got one or two.
So I remember in 2020, I think this is like my third ad that I shot, still in my first year of directing. I won a Cyclopedia Africa Award for Best Newcomer, and that's literally like from an entire continent.
High five, high 10, everything else. Did
You
get
far
that?
too kind. You far too kind.
So then besides that, you take an African award as a young creative. So that's not just you. I'm talking about continental experience
And then
of
yeah.
prestige, by the way.
Oh, Sizwe,
Of
come on.
prestige. Right.
Yeah, there was that one, and then obviously Boys Have Feelings too won at the Walking Film Festival, Fashion Film Festival, and then what else did I get? Well, I've been nominated quite a lot for.
That's where I'm going. I want to know how many awards you've been nominated for.
Yeah, well, here's my thing. I've been nominated for the Luries, which is also like a very...
Wait. So that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate advertising awards in the world. Like that, speak.
Yeah.
So Zipho Dlangamandla, tell us.
So I've been nominated, a few years in succession. And what I've always said to people is, so last year I was nominated for a beautiful piece that I did with Time Bank and with this amazing lady called Katrina Esau. Excuse me, she's the last person who can speak the language of Mu, which is a sacred language of the San people in the north, southeast, northern Cape, somewhere there.
Yeah. Northeast.
Yeah, so I had to be like north, south, east. So that was the last nomination that I have. But I've been nominated quite a few times for the Luries, and we haven't bagged the Lurie as yet in my name, but the company Basco Films has been doing fucking amazing work to bag that shit when it comes to those nominations, yeah.
Unfortunately, we have so much to ask.
Don't tell me we're done.
We don't have time.
No way!
We don't have time. This is the
Is there something that you wanted to ask? Maybe someday
No.
I can do like quick bullet things or...
No, man. What
Fuck, I'm already
basically I
having
want
a
us,
good
because
time.
we literally have to cut it right now.
Sure.
We only have 2 minutes. 2 minutes, right? We only
Okay,
have
cool.
2 minutes.
Shoot, quick fire.
What
We're introducing a new game. Quick fire questions. Quick fire questions in a minute. Let's go. Yes.
If any way possible, this question was posed by who's this guy, Tatoshino. We never asked it to our previous guest. How would you mitigate a load shedding going forward?
How would I mitigate? How about
just a general question?
Yeah, Maro Zamuktin. Dumb it
Like
down
how
for
would
me.
you risk down the stages of load shedding from stage 6 to stage 1 and 2?
How would I-
keep it there?
How would I put it down?
Yeah.
Just give us the power we fucking deserve, guys. Honestly.
Shit.
We hear so many things that are talking about the different plants and things that we are having in South Africa, but like, why are plants bombing?
Okay, second question. Mbulelo Obri or Karin?
Mbulelo Grootboom.
Yeah, Mbulelo Grootboom,
Obri Omusikhabi.
Yeah, and Renalema.
Oh,
Directing.
Quickly.
I'd go Grootboom.
Okay.
I'd go Grootboom.
Right.
Mbulelo Grootboom is the one.
Guys, we still have time. I
I thought that was the last
I
one.
can close it. I don't know, man. It has been a fantastic experience, and I told you before.
Shut up, my brother,
You're
yeah.
a great person,
Yeah.
well spoken,
Love.
very eloquent, broad mindset.
Love.
I love you a lot, man.
I love you too, my brother.
Love it. Zipho Dlangamandla, guys. I don't know what to say. All I can tell you is that we've enjoyed the episode. If possible, we're gonna try and have episode number 2 because he has a lot to share. Guys, we love you so much. This is Talks with Kells signing out. Danko.
Uhlala ngibuke nje mana mangisakhona
I said that episode 2 as a friend of the podcast. As a friend of the podcast, episode 2.
As a friend of the podcast.
Yeah, why not, guys? Eh?
Because they both have to agree.
They must. I agree. Because I'm going for the past two. Next 2 weeks ago, guys, and we're introducing Zipho Dlangamandla.
Mama ngizobuya ngiyofuna umsebenzi yaza kukolula ala kahle suliyemezi mama sengiyabonga.
Give me a shot whenever you want to come back or you want me to come back. No, my thing. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Let me just say.
How do you feel? No, he's emotional.
I think the only reason I'm emotional is because I had to invite him.
Oh, man.
So, man.
No, I get it, dog.
Yeah.
I get it.
Ngizomzamela imali ngizowakhaleleka ngizophuma ngingaphandle ngiyophandela mama ngizomzamela imali ngizowakhaleleka ngizophuma ngingaphandle ngiyophandela mama